Arcade Perfect, my Arse.
Right, okay guys, welcome to another Arcade Perfect My Arse, and this video I'm taking a look at the classic Time Pilot by Konami, released in 1982. Now, I was actually really lucky to play the original of this, play the arcade version of this, down in Arcade Club. I actually came back from there this morning. So yeah, this is one of the classic early titles from Konami, and it's a fairly simplistic little game, but what I like about it is it's fairly easy. You know, I am absolutely not a great video gamer at all, but I can get fairly far into this one. Once you kind of get used to how it moves, you know, I mean, the little spaceship can literally turn, you know, on a halfpenny. Once you kind of get used to how it turns, then the idea is to basically work your way through the levels. You start off, I don't know when it is, 1910 or something like that, whenever it is, it's like the biplanes, and then once you get to the end of the level, you've got to take out a kind of boss. In this case, it's a big barrage balloon, which you can see there. Once you've done that, you move on to, I can't remember when it is, you've got little Spitfires, and then you get helicopters, which is 1972 I think, and then you get jet planes in 1982 I think it is, and it kind of moves on from there, so you kind of get the picture. But like I said, it's a fairly simple little game, but it's really nice. It plays so well. It looks quite simplistic, but you know, that's the appeal of some of these early games. Now what you want to do there, you'll just see I've done that, you want to pick up the little parachutists. You basically get 1,000 points for the first one, and then I think it goes up in increments of 1,000, so this should be 2,000, there you go. So for really big points, you want to keep picking up these wee guys. Now you'll see at the bottom, just above where it says Time Pilot, there's a little sort of bar which kind of eats away. Now basically when that gets to the end, it gets to the far left like it's going to here, you'll get the end of level boss, which you've got to, I call it a boss, well they do shoot, I do think they actually shoot, but you basically got to kill them and then you move on, so we should see it appear shortly. It does look quite a bit like mayhem, you got a lot of bullets and that kind of stuff, but there you go, you want to kill that little plane. But the fact that you can turn really quickly makes it nice and playable. So yeah, that is the arcade one. There we go, 1970 it was, yep, so this will be the helicopters. And I think you also get some heat-seeking missiles, which you've got to avoid. There you go, boom! So that's the arcade one. Yeah, let's take a look at the first home version, and this is the ATARI 800. Now this one, actually, I couldn't actually find an original release for the ATARI 800. There might well be one, but you know what, I couldn't find one anywhere. This one actually got released in 2017, I think it was. Now instantly you'll see everything looks zoomed in, and I would probably say that is the biggest problem with this particular version. I mean, graphically wise it looks really nice, you know, it really looks pretty much like the arcade one. I just wish they had gone for smaller sprites. I don't know why they've had to kind of zoom in quite so much, because the sound wise, graphically wise, it looks like the arcade. Sound wise, it pretty much sounds like the arcade, but just because it's been zoomed in, that makes it quite a restricted kind of playing area. Don't know why they've done that. Up to 1940, so yeah, you got little Spitfires. It plays a bit slower than the arcade one, which, you know, that's not a bad thing. It just makes it nice and playable. What you always need to remember, guys, is arcade games were designed to take money. They wanted you to die as quickly as possible, and that's why they were so difficult. They were saying that I was at Arcade Club, like I says, yesterday, came back this morning, And yeah, you ought to see some of these guys playing the Williams games, playing Robotron, playing Defender. Just absolutely insane how good some people are at arcade games. Up to 1970. Now you can see there, it actually shows you what you're shooting. You've got little helicopters. Should get a little end of boss in a second, end of level boss coming up somewhere. You can hear him, wherever he is. I don't know where he is, or maybe not. Is that just the helicopter sound? I'm not quite sure. So that's Atari 800. Now sticking with Atari, this is Atari 2600. Yep, even the good old Atari VCS, as we called it in the UK, had its own version. How do we get this started? The thing is, this game doesn't look a million miles away from what Combat looked like. Now, if you remember, if you had an Atari 2600, which I didn't, even though I was desperate to get one, the game Combat, which came bundled with the system, at least it did in the UK, it kind of looked pretty similar to this. Obviously graphics are quite a bit more basic, but you know, it's still got the essence of the game. I mean, some of the later games that came out for the 2600 were actually really impressive looking. When you consider some of the early games, like I says, you know, sort of Breakout, Pac-Man, you know, they were pretty basic looking. Some of the games that came out later on were just quite incredible. So this plays alright, yeah, it's a bit jerky, you know, but what do you expect? It looks like, excuse me, it looks like your bullets don't travel that far in the screen, which makes it a wee bit more difficult. You've got to be kind of closer to them. So yeah, that is Atari 2600. Now this one is on the BBC Micro. This was not an official port. I wouldn't have thought. It's called Space Pilot. This was released by Superior Software, and it actually plays pretty good. I don't know why I'm sounding surprised, you know, but it does look good, and the sound's not too bad. I'm just trying to see where in this one does it actually show the progress before you move on to a different timeline. Is it that wee, the wee sort of 3 planes at the top left, is it possibly? Or is that when you lose a life? I'm not quite sure. And that says 1916, so you know they've obviously they've put their own spin in the game. You know, you can tell, you can quite clearly see that this is based on Time Pilot, but they've put their own spin in it. Instead of is that biplanes? That is biplanes actually. They've come up with their own timeline. But yeah, you know what? That's not too bad at all. Arse. Come on. For some strange reason, the A key on a PC doesn't seem to work with a BBC emulator. Don't know. Right, that was the BBC. Right, moving on with the same name, Space Pilot. This is on the Commodore 64. This was released by, I think it was programmed by Kingsoft, and it was released in the UK by Analog Software. Now, I did buy this game, and I absolutely loved this game. Again, like the ATARI one, you can see it plays a bit slower from the arcade one, which again is not a bad thing. But it does look like it, and more importantly, it plays like it. You've got really good sort of controls. The controls are really tight, you can spin round nice and easily. This is, the C64 is probably the perfect hardware for a game like this, you know, purely sprite based. I'm assuming the clouds are sprites, I'm not quite sure. I shouldn't even make comments about technical details of games because I have no idea. Oh, arse. Hopefully, so yeah, 1919. Right, so what you want to do is you want to take out that little zeppelin, whilst avoiding the bullets. Bit of slowdown going on there, I think. Yeah, there we are, some nice sound effects. There was a sequel to this game, I think, what was it called? Space Pilot, you know, Time Pilot 84, I think it was called. Game set in space. I was never a fan of that one. Well, to be fair, I never really played it. I did actually have one game of it down at Arcade Club yesterday. But for some strange reason, the joystick and the buttons were on the wrong side, so the joystick was on the right hand side of the control panel and the buttons were on the left, whereas normally it would be the other way around, and that just kind of made it a bit weird. So that's Space Pilot, and that was on the C64. Now I'm assuming that this is a official conversion. This is Time Pilot, again it's got the proper name, and this is on the ColecoVision. I'm just laughing at the little white parachutist. Arse. No, I don't think there was ever a version of this released on any 16-bit machines. I certainly couldn't find any for the Commodore, Amiga or Atari ST, but like I said, that's not to say that there wasn't a version of some sort released, because as you'll see coming up, there was a couple of versions on the Spectrum, and they're not called Time Pilot, you know, so there might have been some versions on other machines which I wasn't aware of. When I make these, I tend to kind of use Wikipedia, and it'll only ever come up with the official versions, which in the case of this game, there's not many official versions that I could find. So it's just a question of actually having the knowledge that there was an unofficial conversion, you know, or else finding it online. And we're up to 1940. Again, it plays pretty well, which you would hope, since it was a, you know, I'm assuming it was an official conversion. I couldn't imagine, you know, a big company like ColecoVision putting out an unofficial one. So yeah, that is the Coleco one. Right, next one. This is on the Game Boy Advance. Now I've put Game Boy Advance oblique Nintendo DS because I think they're going to be identical. This is actually part of a Konami collection that you can get for both of these, and as you would probably expect, I'm assuming this is an emulation. It's pretty spot on. It plays really well, it looks great. Even on the Wii screen. That's why I'm a bit confused, you know, the fact that the Atari one went for really big chunky graphics, where you've got something like the Game Boy, which has got or a Game Boy Advance, it's got a really small screen, but they've managed to retain the really small kind of detailed graphics. This plays really well. Yep, you're using the gamepad, but it controls absolutely perfectly. If you've got a Game Boy Advance and you like classic games, especially from Konami, then I suggest you go and check out the Konami collection. It's got some cracking games. It's got Yer Kung Fu, it's got Scramble, it says Time Pilot. It's not got track and field. I don't think there's ever been a track and field for handhelds. And I would imagine that the Nintendo DS one is going to be exactly the same. You can get Konami collections for, I think, the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation, the Xbox, possibly even the Dreamcast. Now, I've deliberately not included these in this compilation because they are effectively running the arcade, you know. So I'm not going to say it's cheating, but I don't want to involve them in this comparison, because this comparison is all about what was kind of the best home version, whereas these ones, with the power they've got, they're effectively running the arcade one. But it's an addictive little game, this, it really is. And if you're generally quite pants at video games and you want a game that's, you know, it's not too difficult, then this is your man. Yep, so that's on the Game Boy Advance and Nintendo DS. Next one, this is Time Pilot and the MSX. Now again, I think this is an official release. The MSX had a lot of official Konami conversions. I mean, it had Yer Kung Fu, although I don't think it was a Yer Kung Fu that we I think it was a slightly different version. It also had, what else did it have? It had Track and Field, which I think was the only machine that actually had an official conversion. So yeah, Time Pilot. This looks really nice. MSX was one of these sort of weird computers. It was a computer platform that was kind of agreed. It was a universal computer platform that was agreed with numerous companies. The idea being, it wouldn't matter what machine or what company you bought it from, they would all be compatible with MSX software. And unfortunately, it never really became a thing. I mean, there was a few companies. Was it Sony, Toshiba possibly? There was a few of them. There was maybe 3 or 4 companies that all bought into the MSX. They all made their own MSX machines, but sadly the community just didn't really latch onto it. I don't know, was it popular in Japan maybe? I'm really not too sure. There was only one person that I knew that had an MSX in the UK. Sorry. I only had one mate that had an MSX. And I think it was a fairly capable machine. I'm sure it's got the same processor as the Spectrum, because a lot of a lot of the conversions you get, or a lot of games that you get on the Spectrum, some of them are identical, absolutely identical on the MSX, even though the MSX was a lot more capable. So that's the MSX one. Right, this was a bit of a surprise time pilot, and this is on one of my holy grail machines, the Sharp X68000. Now, when you see it starting, I don't think this is an official conversion. It looks nice enough. The music sounds like it's been played on an actual organ. The problem with this, it's just completely unplayable. It plays too fast. The turning is just like, you can see there, it just turns instantly. In a game like this, it needs to be intuitive, you know, you need to be able to kind of coax it round and avoid bullets, but it's just way too quick. Because this machine would have absolutely had an arcade perfect version of it, without doubt, but the fact that there's no development company or publisher or programmer or anything on this, I would imagine this has probably just been a kind of homebrew. You see there, start mode, exit, yeah, there's nothing, there's no company name or anything, which would lend me to believe that this is not really an official conversion. It could have been a lot better if it just kind of slowed it up a wee bit and made it, you know, that your plane doesn't turn so fast. It is way harder than the arcade one. I wouldn't even say it's so much that it turns so fast, I think the game just plays too fast. Now I don't know whether that's down to the fact that I'm emulating this, but I've played quite a few games on the Sharp emulator and it seems to work fine, so I think this was probably how it played. If they just slowed it up a wee bit, it would have probably been a far more playable game. Yeah, that is the Sharp X68000. Right, the first of the what I would imagine is an unofficial version. This is Time Blaster. Now, I'm reliably informed that this is just a beta. The game literally just starts, you know, as soon as the game's loaded, it just starts playing, so I don't think it's been finished. But you know what? In fact, I don't think there's even any sound. There is no sound to speak of, which is a shame, because the graphics move really fluidly. They move really smooth. There's a wee parachutist, the clouds look good. And I think you're on infinite lives as well, actually. Let me see. In fact, can I even die? I don't think I can. No, I don't think you can actually die. So it's a shame that this game has never been finished. Possibly it has. I couldn't find anything other than just this beta version. I'm not quite sure when it actually came out. Yeah, I'm not dying here, so it's ultimately pointless even playing the game, because, you know, what's the point of playing when you can't die? I mean, look at there's a lot of sprites on screen. I call them sprites, are technically not sprites, you know what I mean. There's a lot of graphics on screen there, no slowdown. Like I say, the clouds move really smoothly, the actual little planes move smooth as well. Let's see if we can get, if you look at the top right, you'll see the little time bar edging down, so once that gets to 0, hopefully we're going to move on to the next level. If indeed there is a next level, I don't know. Oh, there's a big balloon. Hey, right, there we go. Right, so there is, yeah, I mean, it looks awfully like that the game is pretty much completed. It would be really, really nice if somebody was just to kind of finish this off. You do get that in the community sometimes, where somebody releases a game not quite finished, and then somebody else will just go in and finish it. You know, I'm no programmer, but I wouldn't imagine it would take too much tweaking to get this finished. So yeah, that's a really, really promising effort. That's Time Blaster, it says, and that is on the ZX Spectrum. Now the second one that I could find that kind of resembles it is Time Flight. Don't know what the dice has got to do with, do with anything. Right, yeah, press a key to play, let's go. Now, like the X68000 one, it just kind of turns, it's a bit too kind of responsive. Yeah, here we go. Graphics by J Tatlock, programming by S Tatlock, so I'm thinking it was probably a family affair. Down the bottom there, year 1925. Interesting. So again, they've changed the date slightly. Warp. So I mean, this is not I wouldn't say this was an accurate representation of Time Pilot, but it's certainly, you can tell it's been based on it. Okay, that was whatever it was called on the Spectrum. Right, this one, I've been looking forward to this one. This is Vector Pilot, and this is on the VECTREX. Now, I have showed this game off a few times. I mean, the VECTREX is, I believe, the oldest system that I've featured in all of these. And look at this. Now, apologies for the really piss poor camera. Trying to record a VECTREX is nigh on impossible. This was the best of a bad bunch. It's obviously got an overlay. I mean, the VECTREX is black and white. And yeah, with the, you can place a little plastic overlay which kind of gives it the, the effect of colour. But this is an absolutely sublime version. I think you know what one I'm going to go for. It's just beautiful. It looks absolutely stunning. I mean, this game really shouldn't work on a VECTREX because, Space Pilot or Time Pilot, whatever it's called, Time Pilot it's a character-based game, sprite-based game. Excuse me, it's not a vector-based game. But the fact that they've got a game like this working so well on, a vector graphic system is just absolutely insane. And trust me, this looks way better than it in real life than it does through a computer. It's like I said, it's really, really difficult trying to record a VECTREX. It's either too bright or you can't see anything. So that is the very, very last version we're going to look at. So, yeah, Time Pilot, summing up. Blimey, where do we start? ATARI 800, again, that's quite a new version. It's nice, but it's too zoomed in. The ATARI 2600, it's the ATARI 2600, what do you expect? It's a nice little representation on a very limited system. The BBC one was nice, an unofficial version obviously, but played really nice, fairly authentic. The C64 one is excellent, it really is. It's, there's not much I could actually complain about that one. COLECOVISION, again, really, really nice. Slightly limited sort of colours. The Game Boy Advance, like I said, I'm not really going to include that one because I'm assuming it was running, it was a recent version and I'm assuming it's running some sort of emulator. That would obviously be the one to go for because you're playing almost the arcade one. MSX, again, really, really nice version. The Sharp one is a homebrew. unplayable, I think. It's just too difficult. The Spectrum Time Blasters is a nice version, but because it's in beta, you can't die, so ultimately it's pointless playing it. Then you've got the, can't even remember the name of that second Spectrum one that we played. It's loosely based on Time Pilot, so I wouldn't really give that much credence. The VECTREX one is just absolutely awesome. It really, really is. So, to sum up, let me think. This is a difficult one. In third place, I'm probably going to go for the MSX. Yep, that's bronze medal position. In second place, I'm going to go for the Commodore 64. Yeah, it's almost arcade perfect. It's really, really nice. But in first place, it was always going to be this one, just because I love it so much, and that's got to be Vector Pilot on the VECTREX. I know it's a fairly recent game, but given how old the VECTREX is, I could not include it. So anyway guys, that is another Arcade Perfect My Arse. If there's a game you want to see me feature in this, please put your comments below. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching.